Hello, I'm That Casual Gaming Guy, and welcome to another episode of Tall Oaks Zoo. In this episode, we're going to focus on our panda habitat. Off camera, I went ahead and I placed down the building that we made for Arklay Zoo. Now, you'll notice that I added some things, as I mentioned, I believe in the last couple of videos, or somewhere in there, probably in the Arklay videos. But I added the railing for path guides and stuff like that, and I will be uploading this to the Steam Workshop. Now, I'm working on the terraforming as well as putting in a little waterfall, a little rock waterfall here at the end of this river. Now, this river will connect all the way from this area here in the East-South Asia side all the way over to the hippopotamus habitat in the Africa side. So yeah, what's going to happen is you'll have the pandas, then on the next episode is flamingos, and then the hippos. So it's all one river, and actually the river's going to keep going, and there's going to be more things connected to it. And then after those, we're going to put in our timber wolves in our North America section. So one of the things that I definitely need to probably work on is the fountain placement for these waterfalls. For some reason, I don't know, it seems almost too much at times, but I'm still learning, like I always say. Of course, everybody, every day is a learning experience, no matter what you're doing. Alright, so I'm going to put the paths in, and I'm going to actually cut away while I do that, just because there was a lot of issues and a lot of trial and error. Definitely, as you saw me start, I started with aligning to the grid of the building on the bottom floor. So if you're going to download this from the workshop, then most definitely start that way, and then go up the stairs and all that stuff from there. My one issue is that nobody is going down to that lower viewing. I don't know why. So I'll have to figure that out. I may have to rework it, or just plan something different for the next time I go through the pandas. Now we are working on the perimeter, and we're going to start putting in more foliage. One of the things that I do here, and I don't know if I do it on camera or off, I guess we'll find out, is I make the perimeter, the barrier, barrier that goes under the walkway. I turned it into glass, so it still looks like there's no barrier there, but there is because I had to. But this bridge was interesting. Anyways, all right, so moving on to one of our viewing platforms. Now it's time to make the awning, and I had fun with this. And I realize now that I'm saying a lot. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to just let you enjoy. I'll be back. So with this video, I decided to edit out a lot of the placement of stuff because it was a lot of trial and error. I left some of it in, as you can tell by this awning that we're creating and trying to get it to work. But it was just a lot. In fact, it was like a 30-minute long, actually no, 40-minute long video without edits. And as you can tell, I'm having a hard time talking right now because I am a little under the weather. But imagine if we had a 40-minute episode. That would kill my voice. Originally, I had intended to leave it all just one color of red, but I decided it didn't pop, which is the case. I'm actually really happy with how the colorization turned out. One of the things that I've noticed about myself is once I learn how to do something, then I do a lot of it. Like this awning, which will be a slatted awning. At first, I do, later on you'll see I add a roof, and that is because I add lighting, and I wanted to hide the tops of the lights because I used the floodlights. So I think it turns out really well. I do cut away here, so that way you don't have to watch me do another awning like this. Okay, now we're going to go into this center area. And one of the things that I decided I was going to go ahead and recreate from Arklay was this kind of floating garden, like pillar section thingamabobber, so to speak. But I wasn't liking how the thick poles were turning out. So I would go ahead and I do the thinner ones, and then I decided to make them multi-tiered, which actually I think looks really great. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys watch this. I'll be back in a few. So with these little round circles that I decided to use as an edging, I started out trying to do it how you would a dome, just by putting the two ends and then rotating them, but it just kept getting wonky, and I don't know why. The same thing happened on one of my last builds too, and it was weird. It was really, really weird to me. But so I decided to just go ahead and I placed them all, at least around the half, individually, and then just duplicated the half and then duplicated each round onto all three pillars and stuff. And I edited that out so, you know, you guys didn't really need to see that. So now I'm working on the canopy, a little dome canopy here, and I think it turns out really well. I start off though doing it way too big. Way too big. As you'll see here, I'm going to delete some of the support here. And it was just like, nope, not going to happen. Too long. So yeah, but I do really like how this turned out with the lighting, as you'll see coming up, and all that stuff. And originally I was going to try and do another slatted awning, and I was just like, you know what? No. And I went ahead for this tile roof that I seem to like a lot. So yeah, and it hangs off of it and all that stuff. So the supports are on the inside, and then all of a sudden it hangs, and it's just awesome. And then it has this kind of a different angle on the trim, which I think just looks really awesome. As you'll see now, I'm going to go ahead and make a dome out of it. And this is all you got to do, is you make just one piece, one building, and then just copy that over and over and over again, rotating, rotating, rotating. And now we have a nice little canopy. And then, of course, the finishing touch. I figured you didn't want to watch me place every single light, just like I doubt you want to watch me place every single piece of ivy. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut a little through this here. I used the twin flowers for the tops of all three. I actually love these twin flowers. Now with this lower one, it is not as much of a gap as the other two, so I had to come up with a different idea than what I wanted, which was to put, I believe, what I wind up using at the taller ones, which is the bracken bushes, but I went with these nettles here for the bottom one, and I think it turned out okay. And then I decided to switch up the ivy just a little bit, creating gaps, and use the longer, because I couldn't use the longer ones on the shorter one. And then, yeah, so I think it looks really way better than the one in Arklay did. So yeah, and then one of the things that I don't know if I just didn't realize this, or just, you know, kept on trucking, so to speak, and didn't notice it, but if you want something perfectly centered on something, you just use the advanced move tool and then change what you have, the prop that you have, and it'll perfectly center it on the prop that you had before. And I was just floored when a YouTuber said that, and I was just like, really? And I might have been doing it all along, I don't know, but once the YouTuber pointed that out, I realized, okay, that's what's going on. That's a cool tool. Now I started placing all the bamboo here, and I do cut away here in a second because it's bamboo. You've seen it, you know it, and you know I'm going to do it all around. So I do edit that out for you guys, just so you know what I'm doing kind of off camera here. Yeah. I knew I wanted shrubbery underneath the viewing platform Partially, I was hoping to block the pandas from going underneath it and possibly climbing up onto the platform. But one thing I learned watching Delay Designer's latest video for Arklay Zoo with her compilation with 3 other YouTubers. I believe it was hers. It might have been Rudy's last one in that same series, but I digress. Anyways, and they were talking about traversable areas. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. And how, the elephant grass and all that stuff, cuts down on your traversable areas. The animals will not walk through them. But if you sink trees into the ground, they will walk through them. Because I guess it's something with the algorithms or math or whatever, what have you, design, that only the base of the trunk and the little bit of the trunk, I think, are non-traversable, but also some trees are climbable, I believe. I haven't really tested that out yet. So I know, okay, well, that they walk through it. In fact, as I was pulling together the cinematics for the end of this episode, it was crazy. They ran through that whole undersection to get to their food. So, yeah, that was interesting. Now, these climbing surfaces are not necessary for the habitat. I just think it makes them look better, and it might help their enrichment. I'm not too sure. Doing this habitat, I realized you can color the concrete barrier wall. And I'm again, floored. I didn't know this. So, like I said, every day you learn something new. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the essentials like the bedding, the food, the water, the toys, all that stuff. I wind up placing, I think, a few things of food and then a couple of enrichments and all that stuff. And I do put some stuff up on the climbing stuff just to get them to go up there. And they go up onto the climbing stuff. The one thing that I did have to change, which really bums me out, is around the entirety of that of the viewing platform, the round one with the floating pillar like gardens, and around the backside of the building, I had to put up the one-way glass and put it up high enough to where the people, weren't seen by the pandas because they were getting way too stressed. And I'm like, dude, there's plenty of hiding spots, and they weren't going into their little cave thing. They are now because, the keepers finally went and fed them, which was my error, not the game's error. And stuff, but it's just like, wow. And then, you see these people flocking to where, or the area that the pandas are in, but when they're all down underneath the building, they gather right here by the stairway to go down in kind of that corner, and they just stay there, like they're trying to see the pandas through stone and stuff. And I even put a couple groups down there, and they got stuck. So I don't know what to do. I may have to redo the whole pathing. I may have to just rethink a lot of that front entryway. So we'll see what happens later on. So here I am trying to figure out the lighting. And I'm like, okay, do I want to use the poles? Do I want to use this? Do I want to use that? And I figured, why not just do a floodlight from above? It's It's hardly like the zoo's going to be open at night anyways, you know, and it's just, I think it turns out really cool looking, especially it gives it like this hazy look. It's nice. And it's just right there, and then you see I did the green lights around the plants and stuff, and now I'm going to do that yellow for this one and just put it all the way around, and it just creates kind of a haze. It's really awesome. And then of course I had to do the entryway. Now I didn't build this on camera because either I forgot to hit record or I just didn't. I mean I've been having so much fun doing this that I've been forgetting to hit record like a lot. Alrighty, so we're coming up on the end of the video here, and what's going to happen next is I'm going to show a couple of clips of the orbit camera on the animals, you know, kind of a cinematic feature here instead of a live play. I'm going to do this for this episode and for the flamingos. I'll do a little bit of it for the hippos, but I'm also going to do a live play at the end of the hippos and show you a walk around kind of all three exhibits there. Now, one thing I did forget to do on the next video is start the recording. So most of the flamingo habitat actually is done off camera. So I might have the hippos and the flamingos in one episode. I'm not sure yet. I haven't gone through the footage. But I am that casual gaming guy, also go by Steven. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and hit that like button. Leave me a comment down below. And if you're new, smash that subscribe button. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.